And now, before we close, a final look back at some of the milestones of BBC history and our celebration of Radio Time's Diamond Jubilee this month. The 70s first. And in 1971, the Generation Game headed the Saturday evening lineup with Bruce Forsyth.
Life is the name of the game, and I want to play the game with you. Life can be terribly tame if you don't play the game with two.
71 also saw the start of Parkinson, the Old Grey Whistle Test, and in drama, the Oneidin Line. Colditz followed a year later, as did Mastermind, and in 1973, That's Life with Esther Rantzen. It was a decade famous for its television comedy.
Meet the gang, 'cause the boys are here, the boys to entertain you.
The entertaining It Ain't Half Hot Mum. Last of the Summer Wine was there, the fall and rise of Reginald Perrin, and the unforgettable Fawlty Towers.
Good morning, Mr. Fawlty.
Good morning, ladies. Hello, Fawlty Towers.
What?
I didn't say anything.
Have you called the police yet?
Excuse me, I'm trying to take a telephone call.
Have you called them yet?
Yes, we have.
When are we going to be here then?
As soon as possible. They're very busy today.
Busy? Oh.
There was a lot of bloodshed at the Nelgwyn tea rooms last night.
To the Manor Born with Penelope Keith.
Losing one's husband is one thing, that one can take. But to lose the manor and the estate... Look out there, Arnold. Who built all that up to what it is today? Not Martin. All he had to do was sign the checks. No, it was me. I did it, by my own fair hand and the sweat of my brow. At least it was me who sent the men out.
Memorable, too, were documentary series like David Attenborough's Life on Earth, The Ascent of Man, Sailor, and Royal Heritage. And from the Palace of Westminster in April 1978...
Order, order.
George Thomas as Speaker of the House of Commons, opening the first broadcasts of proceedings in Parliament. And taking us into the 80s, revelations of ministerial life in Whitehall.
Now, who else is in this department?
Well, briefly, sir, I am the Permanent Under-Secretary of State, known as the Permanent Secretary. Woolley here's your Principal Private Secretary. I, too, have a Principal Private Secretary, and he is the Principal Private Secretary to the Permanent Secretary. Directly responsible to me are 10 Deputy Secretaries, 87 Under-Secretaries, and 219 Assistant Secretaries. Directly responsible to the Principal Private Secretaries are plain Private Secretaries, and the Prime Minister will be appointing 2 Parliamentary Under-Secretaries, and you'll be appointing your own Parliamentary Private Secretary.
Can they all type?
None of us can type, Minister. Mrs. Mackay types. She's the Secretary.
Nigel Hawthorne and Paul Eddington. Yes, Minister. Outside broadcasts played their part, particularly the royal wedding, seen right across the world in July 1981. 10 months later, the most complex television outside broadcast operation ever was mounted to cover the visit to Britain by the Pope. May 1982.
At this moment of history, we stand in urgent need of reconciliation. Reconciliation between nations and between peoples of different races and cultures. Reconciliation of man with him himself and with nature.
And a new day dawned in January this year, with Frank Boff and Selina Scott marking another new era at breakfast time, themselves honoured by Radio Times.
To be on the cover of Radio Times is rather like getting a knighthood in the BBC. It really is a great pleasure. It's a super photograph, isn't it?
We're all smiling, which I think is remarkable. And you know, when you have a picture like this and you have 5 people and very obviously strong characters, it's difficult getting them all to look enthusiastic, bright, whatever. And here you have it.
What a handsome body of men and women that is. An old father there in the bottom right-hand corner. That's excellent. Very good indeed.
And there we end our nightly tribute to Radio Times' Diamond Jubilee. The time is very nearly 11:30. And before we close down, may I just wish you a happy weekend, and on behalf of all of us working on BBC Two, a very good night. Good night to you.
Good morning. It's Saturday the 17th of September, and welcome to TVAM.
To one, Red House Charm.